This video is on proper form for a high bar squat, which is also known as an Olympic lifter's version of a squat. And before I press play, the first thing I want to do is point out that when you get underneath the bar, you want to make sure that you have symmetry with your hands. There's going to be a little smooth part on the bar, and you want to make sure that whichever finger is over the smooth part on one side, the same finger is over the smooth part on the other side, so that you have symmetry with your hands. And you want to make sure that the middle of the bar is directly behind your neck. Next thing you do is just make sure that when you place the bar on your back, that it is below your neck, and in a high bar squat, you want to make sure that it sits right on top of your shoulder blades. You then press out of the bar like you mean it. You step back, and the first thing you do is you look down at your feet, because you want to make sure that you have symmetry at your feet, that you are not stagger stepped, and you want to make sure that you externally rotate your feet. At about 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you definitely do not want to have your feet pointed straight. So your feet are about 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and you also just want to make sure that you have symmetry in that sense, that you're not rotating one foot out more so than the other foot. You then brace your core, and you go down, descend into your squat. From a side view, the main things you're looking for at the foot ankle complex, you're making sure that you lower your weight towards the middle / hind foot. So this is a really important cue for personal trainers to cue their clients to get a mind-body connection with their foot, and make sure they, on every repetition, they lower their weight towards the middle / hind foot, so that it never shifts towards the forefoot. If the weight is shifting towards the forefoot, then most likely what is also happening is the knee is shifting forward in space, and even the body is slightly shifting forward in space. And if that happens either on the descent or on the way up, that is what where it ends up being bad for the knee, and potential knee pain or knee issues. Her knee is slightly beyond her toe, and the primary reason why is because she has very long thighs in relation to her, or relative to her shin and her torso. So it manifests itself in the form of her knee going a little beyond her toe when she's at the bottom of her squat. But because her weight distribution is towards the middle / hind foot, that is perfectly okay. So that's what you're looking for at the foot ankle complex. At the thigh, you just want to make sure that it's approximately parallel to the ground. That's going to differ a little bit from person to person based on hip mobility and limb lengths and things like that, but approximately parallel to the ground, deeper if you can. But more importantly, or just as importantly, you want to make sure that there's no butt wink, that the butt is not tucking under, and that you're maintaining a nice neutral, or at least approximately neutral, lumbar spine. Her elbows stay behind her body to contract the musculature here and in the middle of her back and create stability. And then as far as the gaze, if we had a mirror here, I would be telling her to look at her hips and thighs in the mirror to make sure that she's not shifting to the side, and that her thighs are being pressed out with symmetry. She's looking straight ahead, which is totally fine. My view is that your gaze should either be straight ahead or preferably about 10 degrees down into the mirror. I'm not a big fan of looking up at all. So in any case, those are the things that you're looking for from the side view. And then you just make sure that you lower with control, raise with velocity, lower towards the middle / hind foot, and drive your middle / hind foot back or down into the ground to get back up. I just want to point out here that she just looks good. She has good thoracic extension, chest is up and out. She has consistency with her gaze, and she just has a very stable and good looking squat. And then here in a second, I'm going to be heading to the back with the camera angle, and I'll stop it one more time just to make a few more comments. Okay, so I want you to forget about, she has a right shoulder issue, which is the reason why she's dipping here. And we obviously don't want that, but we want to forget about this for the purpose of this video and head down to the feet. So what we're looking at from this angle at the foot ankle complex is that she has nice stable ankles on the way down and the way up, so that there's never any movement to the right or the left at her foot ankle complex. Which she's doing a really good job of. At the hips, we just want to make sure that there's no shifting off to the side. My cue to clients is to tell them to look in the mirror, create a plumb line with their zipper line, and just make sure that they're heading straight down and straight back up so that there's no shifting to the side. And then we want to make sure that we push the knees out to the side. What that does is it creates some space for the pelvis to drop through, which delays that butt wink. And another thing it does is it activates the gluteus medius and just creates a little bit of stability. And we want to push the thighs out so that the thigh angle approximately matches the foot angle. Which here on the right side, her knee probably could be pushed out just a little bit more, but that's generally what we're looking for at the hips/thighs. Otherwise, it's just a matter of making sure she has good thoracic extension and is keeping her chest up and out. So that is what proper form on a high bar squat looks like. Down with control, up with velocity. There's your high bar squat.